the NBA All-Star break happened this past weekend, and nobody cares. I don't care. You probably don't care. And worst of all, the players do not care. And it's not just the NBA. But I'm going to focus a little bit on the NBA to start here. The All-Star game itself finished with a final score of 211 to 186. That 211, by the way, is the highest by any All-Star team in the history of the All-Star game, including ABA All-Star games. So we're dealing with now an All-Star game, and I just realized I didn't have the TV muted. We're dealing with All-Star games where defense is really just more of a suggestion. Do you want to play defense? You don't really have to, nor should you, apparently, because you might get yourself hurt, you might get somebody else hurt. It'd be much better and much more beneficial for you to just go out there and lob up half-court shots. Just whatever. Let's see. I'm going to shoot left-handed. I'm Anthony Edwards. I don't need to, go hard. I don't want to have a cool highlight reel or anything like that. And I'm not saying this to disparage any of the players, because the players are making a calculation, right? It's not worth going so super hard on an exhibition game when there's really no benefit to them. And I have Dame Lillard in the thumbnail. He won the All-Star Game MVP because he scored 39 points, which, to be fair, is pretty normal for him on a really good night of his. But the thing about it that bothers me is why are we even doing it if nobody involved cares? I don't know how we got to this point, because it wasn't that long ago that I think, generally speaking, people like the All-Star game. People liked All-Star Weekend. People liked the three-point contest, the slam dunk competition, any of the skills competitions. Those sorts of things are kind of fun, right? You get to see your favorite players in a bit of an unorthodox environment. Instead of having to take jump shots, they got to pass through some barricades or something. I don't know. Something fun, something a little, don't take it too seriously, but it's a different thing. And across all of the leagues, this is something that has been consistent. Pro Bowl is flag football, and it's not in Hawaii anymore. So that already, and it's before the Super Bowl. So it's like you got layers of that. And that was over several years that happened. It was like, oh, actually, we're gonna not do it in Hawaii anymore. Well, actually, we're gonna do it before the Super Bowl, so that all the players from the Super Bowl teams are not going to be doing anything. And then, we're going to do it flag football now because nobody wants to do contact football anymore. And then, oh my gosh, in the All-Star game for the NHL, I don't know if I didn't watch any of it again because I don't really care. I don't know if any of you watched some of the highlights of the All-Star game for the NHL. You would have thought they got the worst players to show up at the All-Star game. I want to say it was Austin Matthews was one of the clips going around. He just simply did not care. He just, straight up, they're doing this guy, pass it into the thing and blah, whatever. I'm getting paid millions of dollars to hit a puck. I don't need this All-Star crap. And it's weird because, in the past, like I said, it was something that players, kind of enjoyed, right? I think of, at least in the NBA, I think of Vince Carter in the slam dunk competition. I think of, some of these just classic moments in an All-Star game. It just felt like it was something to it. I mean, I think of the players that they were actually trying in the All-Star game. Allen Iverson in the All-Star game in 2008. I believe he was with the Pistons at that point. I think he was with the Pistons at that point. I don't remember who it was. LeBron James on the All-Star game. All the players wanted to play with LeBron. And now it's just well, they already kind of know each other, and they don't really value playing with players they ordinarily don't play with, because a lot of them are going to end up just leaving their situation anyway and requesting trades and just join a loaded team anyway. It's like a weird way where we almost have too many good players in a sense, where it's the All-Stars, it's I don't know, Joe Schmo is an All-Star. Great, cool. Doesn't even really feel like he deserves it that much. Dame Lillard, who's having a good year because he's Damian Lillard, but it's like, is he really an all-star guy? And I know he won the all-star MVP. But nobody cares. I mean, you look at the thumbnail of the show. I know the people who are watching the clip of this are gonna not necessarily understand what I'm talking about. But like, he looks like the trophy could be made of styrofoam and it would feel the same good. Like, is he gonna really like put that in his trophy case? Is he gonna put that with all of his all-star appearances and all NBA awards and all that? Like, is that what he's gonna do? And maybe I just how do you even become the all-star MVP? I don't like it. Doesn't Nobody's playing defense, so it's like everybody basically is good. Like it's just you're letting guys just go right past. Like, and I've heard some people say something like, well, you know how you fix it? You just give them extra money. You just pay them, $5 million extra if they win. It's like, well, what's an extra 5, 10, 15, $20 million to guys getting paid, $40 million a year? I mean, how much is Damian Lillard making? Damian Lillard contract. Damian Lillard on Spot Track, he is this season making $45 million. He's making $45 million. If you say, oh, well, if you win the All-Star MVP, you get $5 million more. Who cares? That's negligible. That's chump change. That's nothing. That's how much he pays for his cars. I mean, there's just there's no you could say oh, well, they'll go harder if you give them more money. And then the other option is to line it up with some sort of competitive balance. Like, I know in baseball they used to do home field advantage in the World Series was determined whether or not the American League or the National League won the All-Star game. And I think that's stupid because the teams involved in the World Series aren't necessarily going to be involved in the All-Star game. I mean, presumably you'll have some guys on the All-Star teams you're going to the World Series, but not necessarily. You're not going to have a bunch of guys all at once. And what are they supposed to do? What if they're not on the field? It's just to me, it's like you can't give that kind of a reward. But I also think the financial reward is not really going to do anything. So the only options are to sort of change your attitude if you're a player and kind of try to have fun with it and try to just actually try, just force yourself to try, which is not a viable option, or just don't have it. Just get rid of it. You can have all-stars. You can have, these are the top players at this point in the season, or maybe do it at the end of the year. Giannis is an all-star. LeBron James is an all-star at the end of the year, and it's voted on by the fans, voted on by the media. I don't know, whatever. But clearly, as far as the all-star game goes, it's dead. It's put it away with, the dodo bird and the dinosaurs. It's just a figment of the past. And I simply cannot get over the score. I'm sorry. I 211 points. When I saw that final score, mouth agape. I was shocked. And I'm usually not shocked by these sorts of things. Usually it's yeah, whatever. Okay, yeah. Scored 50 points in the Pro Bowl or 100 or 10 to 15 in the All-Star. But it's again, why would you try when there's no incentive to and there's no disincentive to if you don't try? Because everybody already knows you're good. You're just going to risk injuring yourself if you try too hard. And it's just the state of it all to me is unfortunate, but it doesn't seem winnable. It seems like the only option, other than if there's just a change in the overall attitude of players. If players just decide one day that actually we owe it to the fans, we owe it to our teams, we owe it to the league itself, we owe it to ourselves to not just embarrass ourselves on a national stage. But I don't really see why that's going to happen because I don't think they see it as embarrassing. I don't think it is embarrassing exactly, other than you look at the past All-Star games, you look at the past slam dunk competition, you look at the past, the only thing worthwhile at this point is a 3-point contest. But I don't even like the 3-point contest that much. The slam dunk contest is so much more interesting. And the other thing I want to just point out, I heard a lot of people saying, oh, well, what are they going to do? Well, you've seen every kind of, windmill and jumping over. It's get creative. I mean, look at any of the montage. Look up on YouTube any of the montages of the best All-Star game or All-Star weekend dunk contest, and you will find something you either forgot about or something you wouldn't even consider. I mean, I saw one of these montages, guys dunking on 2 different nets at the same time. Like, okay, you want to say, well, you can't do 2 different. Figure it out. These are professional athletes. They have agents. They have some people that they could look to for guidance. And I don't like, it's still entertaining. And I want to see the actual players that I'm interested in doing it. I want to see LeBron James. I want to see Giannis. I want to see Jokic. I want to see, well, maybe I don't want to see Jokic. He's not that athletic. But I want to see these big name superstar, guys that make the money in the league. I want to see them do it. Other options that I've heard about, maybe you have something like baseball where you have one player from each team, but not a huge fan of that, because then it's like, well, if your team sucks and you have absolutely nobody, you're basically just putting somebody out there, as a, like, it doesn't even feel like they're really an all-star. It feels like, oh, well, the Pistons, they got to have a player. I don't know. Cade, I guess, or Ivy, Durant, do you want to be the all-star rep? Sure, why not? So, yeah, it just, like, it seems to me that these all-star games in the MLB, Pro Bowl in the NFL, and the NHL, and especially in the NBA, the NBA seems the most evident to me because of the kind of iconicness of things like the dunk contest and the three-point contest, and even, like, they brought back the East and West as the teams, and maybe they thought that would, bring some level of, competitiveness as opposed to just like the team captains. You had Team Giannis, Team LeBron, or Team Durant, Team LeBron, and Team LeBron and Team Joe Schmo. Like, I don't know. It just seems like a dead thing, and maybe that's just why. Maybe that's what it is. There's no bringing it back, so you might as well just say, you know what? All-Star break will just be where, players have a little ceremony for having a great first half. Maybe they get a $500,000 bonus for being voted an All-Star, and then you move along. Because that's the other thing, is that a lot of these are just a lot of these are just fan voted. Like the MLB All-Star game is just fan voted, which I think is ridiculous. And the Pro Bowl for the NFL is also fan voted. It's like, why are we leaving these things up to a vote when these are supposed to be the best players, not just the most popular players? And I know sometimes those things coincide, but it is what it is. And I don't know that we're ever going to get back truly to where it once was. But as a lover of old school traditions, as a lover of, just a little bit of fun in the middle of the season, especially if your team stinks, if you're like me and the Pistons stink, and maybe you can have something with the All-Star break where, you don't really have an egg in the fight anyway, but you get to see, maybe the Rising Stars tournament or the All-Star game or the dunk contest or whatever. I don't even get that anymore. So that's wonderful. Just beautiful stuff.
Hey there, what you just watched was actually a clip from a larger show that we do every Tuesday night. What are you doing Tuesday night? Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the like button so that you don't miss out on any more of our weekly shows every single Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope to see you there.